in rich countries, informal, unorganized labor is growing, and you know about the gig workers, etc. So the proportion of informal workers in rich countries is increasing. And of course, in poor countries, the number of workers in the traditional informal sector far exceeds those of the formal sector. Most of you know the numbers. For example, the latest report that I saw, periodic labor survey in India, 2017-18, for the full year national sample survey, if I remember right, even in the non-agricultural sector, 3/4 of the labor force in the non-agriculture sector informal. So there is a great deal of labor fragmentation, which makes labor movements weak. We have to think about bridging this gulf, this labor fragmentation. If you want to strengthen labor movements, you have to think about bridging these various divided parts of the labor system. So I could give you many other examples, but I've given here 5 examples of common platforms for labor, both formal and informal. Universal access to vocational training programs and active labor market policies. This will help both formal labor and informal labor. And if it does, then it could be a common demand of all laborers, not just the organized sector. And that will strengthen the labor movement. So think of platforms which will unite all sections of labor. Otherwise, at the moment, our trade unions represent only a very tiny fraction of all the workers. So when they demand higher wages, it doesn't resonate with the others. Particularly if you are self-employed in the villages, then why do you care whether the public sector employees are asking for higher wages? Because it doesn't affect you. You are a self-employed farmer, you are much more than the wage demand, you are maybe much more interested in better credit facilities, marketing facilities. If you are a woman, you maybe care a lot about the child care facilities and things like that. So for these self-employed, their demands may be quite different. Yet our trade unions don't even think about this. So vocational training is one of these, and child care I mentioned, this is the third one, universal access to child care. Similarly, for this gender cause of labor fragmentation, universal access to community kitchen. Of course, as you know, this was started in India, particularly in South India. We still have some Indira kitchens, in Jayalalitha's time, Amma kitchens and so on. So those are makes a big difference to the woman workers' participation. So we have to think about, essentially going back, I'm saying, think about issues that can kind of bridge over this fragmentation.